This is called a ribbon spread. The ribbon spread is one of those flashy techniques you've probably seen dealers do or magicians, and it's actually not that hard to do. You've probably just never tried it. You definitely need a felt table. Hold the cards from the ends with the thumb and middle fingers like this. Stick them on the table, square it up and flush. Your first finger is going to drag along the side of the deck. If you slide like this, you'll notice that one card comes off across the bottom of the deck. That's essentially all you're going to be doing, except you're going to let the deck bevel. What I mean by that is rotate like this, and you're going to let cards slowly come off the bottom as you move this finger away. So just try this. It's a knack you have to develop, but just little by little you let more cards come out and they slide across the table until you're out of cards. Once you've done the ribbon spread, you can turn the cards over and play with them. This is really fun to do and looks very flashy. Stick one of your fingers underneath the end card or tilt that card up. It's okay if you drag a card a few inches. Then what you do is you stick a finger along the top and just move your hand along. This actually is a pretty automatic thing. You really don't have to do much at all. It feels kind of cool on the fingers, and it makes it look like you know what you're doing with cards. One more technique with the ribbon spread. Once you have the cards spread out on the table, I've already showed you how to lift them up. But if you have a hand at the end awaiting to receive the cards, you can quickly scoop up all the cards together in one fluid motion. This is what it would look like in fast speed. One additional advanced trick you can do is at one point meet your fingers together and go in opposite directions, doing a double split. This is called dribbling. Dribbling is another fun flourish for handling the cards. Hold the deck from the opposite corners with the bottom card barely hanging on to the skin from the middle finger and the thumb. You're going to bow the cards upwards while pushing your middle finger in the middle downwards, and practice just shooting one card off at a time. You want to release from the middle finger and thumb at the same time. If you don't, like if I release from the thumb, the card's going to pivot that way. If I release from the middle finger, the card's going to pivot this way, and it's going to be very sloppy. You want to time it so it drops at the same exact time. You go faster and faster and faster. That's called dribbling. One tip about dribbling: start with your hand really close and just go a couple inches and get used to dropping the cards individually. You're probably going to start off with doing big chunks in packets. That's okay. Once you get the practice down, you can get further and further away and get into great heights. This is called a thumb fan. To do the thumb fan, you're definitely going to need a new deck of high quality playing cards. They're slippery and they slide along each other with ease. The deck is held between the thumb and the first two fingers, right at the bottom short edge of the pack. The deck goes right down the middle of your middle finger. Your free hand is going to place its thumb along the edge of the deck, near the top. You're essentially going to swing this thumb around in a circle. But the trick is this: you're not going to use the flat edge of your thumb the entire way. You're going to start here, flush and flat against this side, and as you make an arc, your thumb is actually going to turn onto its side and end up like this. This is what it would look like. Notice how your thumb is like this, not like this. you are not going to actually push the cards all the way. Start here and slide to here. This is very hard to do slow. You're going to have to develop the knack. There's definitely a little bit of a whip and speed to this. Start here and go in about this speed. Once again, this is what it would look like in full speed. Once you have fanned the cards, you can close them with your first finger. Just drag it along in a semicircle. However, there's a more fun way of closing the fan. With one hand, just rotate the cards with these fingers. Just kind of walk the cards back to a square position. Here's the cards. Your first finger and middle finger help walk the cards back to this position. One more time. Here's the fan. Readjust your middle finger. Using your other fingers, rotate the cards back to the standard position. This is a one-handed fan. For the one-handed fan, you can definitely use all the cards, but that's a lot of cards to handle. What I would like you to do is use about half the cards. Hold the packet by the ends in preparation to hand it to the other hand. Your middle and ring fingers go about 1/4 of the distance up from the edge of the card, and your thumb meets that on top. This is how you're going to pinch the cards. The cards are as far up into the notch of your hand as possible. Your middle and ring fingers are about 1/4 of a distance up from the end of the card. And your thumb is as far back as possible. Not like this, but really far back. It's kind of an unorthodox position to be in, but if you can do this, the rest is very, very simple. Essentially, all you're going to do is slide your thumb like this. Almost like snapping, but with all your fingers. This is what it would look like from underneath. One more time. That's called the giant fan. The giant fan is accomplished by splitting the deck and doing the Pharaoh technique you learned in the Shuffles and Cuts DVD. You're going to do the exact same handling from here as you did with the thumb fan. Place the cards in this position and continue fanning just like you normally would. Basically, ignore that there's cards sitting out here weaved in between. This is called a pressure fan. The pressure fan is a fantastic way of fanning the cards when you have an old or dirty dog-eared deck of cards. These are the dirtiest cards I could find in our studio. There's lots of bent cards, split cards, they're dirty, they don't fan or manipulate well at all. But for the pressure fan technique, they work great. This is basically the technique. You're going to bend the cards like this, and little by little, as you go around in a circle across your fingertips, you're going to let the cards go. Before I get into the full technique, I want to show you what the cards are doing from this angle. Buckle them like this, and watch what the cards are doing as I spread them across my fingers. Notice how they're coming out one after the other after the other. Now I'm going to show you how to do this and where to hold the cards. Buckle the cards like this. Place your first two fingers about in this area of the bottom of the card. Rotate the card as far back into the, call this the notch of your hand. Squeeze the cards and rotate around your fingertips. This definitely takes a knack. You're going to go through a few decks of cards just to get this down. but this is essentially what you're doing to get the fan. This is called the split fan. You've already learned the thumb fan. The split fan is basically doing a thumb fan with two hands, but the trick is getting it into the ready position where you can do both hands at the same time. I'm going to show you two techniques to get into that ready position. The first technique to get into what I call the ready position is to just split the deck in half from above, rotate both hands face down, take this deck with your middle and thumb finger from your left hand, grab it so this end is free to take back with your right hand. Get into position to do the regular thumb fan. This end of the deck will be retrieved by the pinky and the ring finger's notch. Hold it there, and now do the thumb fan with the other hand. A more advanced way of doing the split fan is like this. Split the deck into two halves, slide them apart about an inch or so, grab in this position just like you would for a thumb fan with a deck by itself, but the difference is you are also holding an additional packet with these fingers. This is a really unorthodox position to be in. Once again, split half the deck forward, grab here like you would for a regular thumb fan, except these fingers have another pile of cards in the way. There's a step here. Your ring finger will be on the lower half, and your first and middle fingers will be containing the entire deck. Now there's this area here that you can retrieve with your free hand in order to do the other split fan. Here's an additional bonus flourish using the split fan technique. It's called the S fan. Split the two fans into two positions like you did before, but bring the cards face to face like this, causing an S. It looks very flourishy, very stage-like. It's very simple to do. It's called the S fan. This is called the card spring. There's a couple methods of doing the card spring. You can hold the cards from the center or from the corners. I'm going to show you the corner position first. Holding the deck from the corners allows just a little bit of skin to overlap the bottom card, keeping it in place. Hold the cards from the corners, bow the cards downward, and at the same time allow a card to come off the tip of your skin. Practice this in a very close position with your other hand retrieving the cards. You want to be able to shoot one card at a time, not clumps. Once you can get one card to go at a time, you can get further apart and go faster. That's the basic card spring technique. If holding them from the sides, it's the same exact thing. I believe it takes quite a bit more pressure on your fingertips. You're going to shoot them one at a time off the tips of the skin into the awaiting hand, just like before. It's just a different technique. Once you have down a basic card spring, you can do these bonus moves. You can go from side to side, or if you're really good, try this. I call this the anti-gravity card spring. Straight up. That's called the waterfall. The waterfall, not to be confused with the waterfall shuffle, is a really pretty flourish to do with a deck of cards. The technique is fundamentally very simple, but takes quite a knack to get it down to a science. This is what you do. Hold the deck from underneath so the short ends are free for the awaiting top hand. Put this end into the notch of the thumb and as far as you can reach, clip the other end. What you're essentially going to do is slowly squeeze and cause space between all the cards, placing air between each individual card. The way that happens, once again, is by the top fingers slowly squeezing and beveling that edge, causing this air. Now for the cards to drop one after the other, it's literally just a matter of holding the cards like this and slowly opening the end of your fingers. Literally just squeeze and open simultaneously. This is what it would look like at full speed. A couple points about the waterfall. I'm sitting at a table, angling this toward the camera for you to see it. If you're standing and you're demonstrating this and you've got this knack down, you can actually go to great heights. I've seen magicians and performers around the world go 4 feet with this effect, and it's quite beautiful. Just keep that in mind. On behalf of myself and everyone at OPI, we wish you the best of luck at mastering these skills. We urge you to respect house and casino rules, become proficient at these techniques before bringing them to any live game, and never use these skills for cheating. To get more game, don't forget to check out other official poker DVDs. I'm Rich Ferguson, and until next time, see you at the card table.